So I'm just going to start by getting my slide deck up. I'm just going to actually talk you through what I'm hoping to get done today. So hopefully the way that it's going to work is I'm going to just give some updates using the slide deck, and then I'll go into actually demoing the specific tools that I talk about in the second, like 2/3 of the time. So welcome everybody to today's session, whether you're joining in person or whether you are watching this later on. We're really happy that you're here with us this evening. We're very excited that we get to talk about the new Microsoft Teams updates. Honestly, there are like a ton of really cool updates that came out for back to school, and I cannot wait to talk about them. I think that even later on, we might even have a session that's just on one of the things that I'm going to talk about this evening. So there are so many cool updates. So again, if you are joining us live, I think Bailey will have put that link in the chat for you for the link to the slide deck. If you're watching this on the recording, then you're just going to go to the cc.page/Teams updates, and this will give you the whole slide deck, including all of the resources and anything else that you might need. So, as we said before, this workshop is going to be recorded, so you can come back and refer to it at any point if you need to. You don't have to remember everything that we're going to cover tonight. Tammy, this will be nice for you. You get a little sneak peek of like the extra fun things that you'll learn maybe on tomorrow, but hopefully this will help you kind of get a better idea of everything that's going on. So, my name is Alex. I am joining you from Montreal, Quebec, from the Mohawk Treaty. I am currently an educational technology consultant working with this wonderful group of the Cobblestone Collective. As always, we just like to take a second to acknowledge that I am participating and learning from the traditional territories of the Mohawk people. Oh, hi. Someone else just joined in. Hello, hello. Hi, Nellie. Nice to see you. I'm just going to, you might just be muted. If you'd like to unmute yourself, if you have questions, go for it. If not, that chat space is there for you. So yes, as I was just saying, I just wanted to take a couple of moments to recognize that I am learning and teaching on the Mohawk people's land, and I just wanted to recognize and acknowledge that. So welcome to the presentation with the Cobblestone Collective. If you don't know who we are, we're a wonderful group of educators, educational technologists, tech fans all across the board who work really from east to west coast helping educators use, leverage, learn, expand their knowledge on many different educational tools, from Google Suite to Microsoft Suite to Minecraft to CS First to all kinds of different things. We're really proud to say that we are a Minecraft Global Partner, a Google Cloud Partner, and a Microsoft Partner. So we really do to try to cover all of the technologies that could possibly use in the classroom to give you all as educators the best educational experience. We really pride ourselves on having interactive, collaborative, and interesting workshops. So hopefully this will be a great PD for anybody that's joining in person or afterwards. So again, if you are just joining, the link to the slide deck is right in that chat space. Feel free to use that at any time. As I said, I'm just going to start off by kind of giving an overview of what we're going to see, and then I'll jump into a live demo. So I only have 3 real big chunks to mention today. One is going to be the new Teams layout, because believe it or not, after however many years of asking, Microsoft listened and put in a new layout for us. So we're going to be able to see kind of where to find homework now, how it's a little bit easier to navigate to find what we're looking for. Then we're going to do a homework layout and features. So all the different homework layout and features, how do we find those now? What are the new options that we have as far as homework assignments? And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about all the new meeting options that we have, because just in a regular Teams call, we have a ton of updates. But before I launch into everything, I just want to say thank you so much. If Bailey, you want to say hi, Bailey's going to be the little wizard on the back end being my admin and my MC. There she is. She's just going to be kind of answering any questions in the chat if she can, if not fielding those questions to me and giving any helpful links and tips and tricks along the way. I might ask her like, oh, did you know, or how could you use this? And she's just going to be my kind of co-host, co-pilot for tonight's session. I feel especially like a pilot with these giant headphones. I just feel like I'm very much like want to be one of those people that, you know, guides the planes. That's what I feel like. Okay, so we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is the new Microsoft Teams layout. And the whole program hasn't changed, but some things have definitely improved for the better. The first being a new layout for how your actual teams are seen. So originally what used to happen is that you used to have a Microsoft Teams, and in there, your class notebook, your assignments, your grades, and your insights all used to fall under this general channel. So it used to be right here. That's where you'd find everything. After many teacher complaints saying, why do I have to go into the general channel to find my homework? Or why do I have to go into the assignments to see the grades? I want to see them right here. Microsoft finally listened. So what they did is they actually pinned those 4 important pieces right under the title of your class. So now you can easily get to your class notebook, your assignments, your grades, and your insights right from that home page. That's a really big improvement. It was something that was asked for a lot by educators, saying, I don't like how I have to go in and then another step down to try to find what I'm looking for. I want to see that. And also for students, those are the things that they're mostly working on. So why don't we put those out front for them? That's exactly what we did. So now we have those 4 new sections found right underneath the title of our team. Very easy to navigate to, much, much easier for us to find. So that's that first thing in the Microsoft Teams new layout. It's very easy, super helpful. It means we don't have to go into that general channel anymore. So actually, while we're here, I'm just going to show it because I think it makes it easier. I'm just going to actually share my whole screen with you instead. And now we should see that Microsoft Teams space. So if I'm opening my Microsoft Teams, this is my kind of online learning space. You can think of your Microsoft Teams as like your virtual school. And inside that virtual school, you have many different classrooms or committees or groups or whatever it may be. In this one, I am part of a geometric gardens class with Amar as a student. This is my amazing and incredible class. I have a project that I'm working on for accessibility, and I also have an office staff team. So I'm going to actually go into the Alex's amazing and incredible class. And in here, you'll see that those are those 4 spaces now that are located in that opening pinned area. So if you remember Microsoft Teams before, you used to have to go into the general channel, and they used to all be tabs across the top here. So you used to have assignments, grades, class notebook, etc. Now they're right here, easy for us to get to. If you wanted to see your assignments, you simply click on the assignments and it brings you right to the assignments page. If you want to look at your grades, you can simply click on the grades and it gives you your grade book. So much, much easier to navigate in that Microsoft Teams space. And as I said, that was one of the most requested features from educators. That's the number 1 new feature that we've used in Microsoft Teams. The other new thing that's happened in Microsoft Teams is the new homework layout and the features associated with that homework. So we have, as I said, a new layout for the whole Teams, meaning that the homework section also got moved. So the homework section is no longer in that general channel. It's really in that, I think this is my laser pointer. Yes, there we go. It's no longer in that general section, but now it's available on that homework menu. And you'll see that you actually have 4 different ways of navigating that homework section. You can look by any grades that have been assigned. So any homework that you have sent out, you could see it all in one place across all of your different classes. You also have any of the assignments that have been returned, so you can easily go in and see any student that has returned an assignment. You've also got the drafts, so anything that you might have planned to send out that you haven't yet had a chance to send. And then you can also filter by class. So instead, like a couple of months ago, I would have had to go into the Geometric Gardens class to see any of the Geometric Gardens homework. Now with the new layout, I can just see any homework assignment that has been assigned, either if I'm a student, all of my classes in one space, or if I'm the educator, I can actually go in and see any assignment that I have sent out to students across any of the classes that I teach. So again, we've kind of removed that extra step and have now gone in and just been able to see all of the assignments in one place. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in my team space. Bailey, any questions so far, or are we doing okay? I think we should be okay.
Nicely.
Perfect. Okay, so let me go and find my Microsoft Teams. Here we are. I'm in that Microsoft Teams space. And as you can see here, I've got Teams on the left-hand side, which, as I said before, is kind of like the different classes or the different projects that I'm doing inside my school environment. And I've also got the Assignments tab, which is just on the left. So if I wanted to just go in and see the assignments that I have for myself as a student in a Mars class, I can open my Geometric Gardens. I can go in and take a look at the assignments. And as you can see, this is the thing that I need to do. I have any of my assignments as a student that have been assigned to me. And if I have completed any of the homework, I can see the completed assignments right here. So as a student, if I want to know what specifically due for this class, I open my class, all my teams, I click on the assignments tab, and then I can look between what I've been assigned and what I've already done. If I'm the teacher or the educator, for example, I'm going to open the class that I teach. So I'm going to go under my Alex's Amazing and Incredible class, and I'm going to open the Assignments tab. And in that Assignments, what I'm going to be able to see is I have a few more options here. I have assigned. I don't have that returned or that completed. Excuse me, I have the return, so I can see any homework that has been returned to me. I have drafts, so anything that I have potentially prepared but not yet sent out. I will talk about categories in a second, but you can categorize your homework assignment. So if you're teaching English and you've got one that's a reading comprehension, then you've got an oral composition, you have got a analysis of text. You could categorize your different homework assignments so that they're easy to find. You've also got some settings here that you can play with. So what is your calendar setting as? Do you want to add future assignments to calendars? Do you want to notify students? Do you want new students who join your class maybe late to automatically receive the homework assignment? And do you want every time a student turns in a homework, do you want to give them a little like GIF or a meme saying like congratulations? Do you want that turned on or off? So those are the settings that you have over the assignments in general. And then you've also got the ability here to create assignments and a few different options there. I'm going to jump into that afterwards. But that's the new layout for assignments. So as I said, you have the assignments tab inside your teams. If you just want to see all assignments for all classes across every team that you're a member of, you simply come to the assignments tab in the left, and this will show you everything. So if you're the teacher, you see all of the assignments that you have sent out. If you're the student, you see all of the assignments that are due across all of your classes. You can pick a specific class from the drop-down menu, but this really gives you a clean overview of everything that you possibly could need or could want from the assignments. So I think that's a really great update. It used to be that when you clicked on assignments, you had to go into the class first. So students and educators didn't have a good idea of how many assignments had actually been sent out and when they were all due because you had to bury into the different teams to see them. Now it's nice and clean and put out right in front for us so that we can really see everything and all the information that we might need. So that is the new layouts for the homework and the assignments. Any questions so far on anything?
No questions so far, Alex. I really love that you can control notifications on the teacher side for students.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're ready to dive into the next section. Thank you.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, Bailey. So what's our next thing? As I said, we looked at those four. Now we're going to talk about homework, and I'm really going to walk you through doing a homework assignment. And I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to kind of check it out and look for yourself if you're in Teams at the moment. So the homework for Teams is really well laid out. You'll see here that you actually have a lot of options. So you have, oops, I don't want to highlight anything here. I just wanted to have my little laser pointer. There we go. In the Microsoft Teams assignments, you will see that you have the ability to add the title, to add instructions, to have points, to create rubrics, to assign it to students, to choose the students that you're assigning it to, for the due date, and the time. What has now added into Microsoft Teams finally is one, we have the ability to group students together now to hand out group assignments. So if you have 25 students in your class and you want to put them in groups of 5, you can now assign one group of 5 students to a single assignment. And the other really amazing update, which I think is so fantastic, is the ability to add an assignment to the student's calendar. So if students are using Microsoft Teams, they have a built-in calendar. We can now put all of those assignment due dates into their calendar so that they can see when things are due. I think that's so great. It was such a feature that was missing. People were crying out for that, saying, oh, I wish my student, I wish my learner, I wish my child could go in and take a look at that calendar and just see everything that was due from the Microsoft Teams space all in one place. Now we can, because teachers have the ability to push that assignment straight into the student's calendar. I think it's so, so great. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, and I'm going to walk you through creating an assignment. So really, really great. If I want to actually go in and group my students, you can see that I can actually choose to send it to all my students, to individual students, or groups of students. And if you want to group them together, you can either choose to manually group them, so you can choose which students you'd like to put into the group together, or you can ask Microsoft Teams to just randomly put your students in groups, depending on the type of project that you have, depending on the students that you're working with. Sometimes you might want to choose your own students. You know who works well together, who doesn't, who's a team lead. You might want to put one in each of those different groups. And for some activities, you might just want to say, hey, you know what? It wasn't me that did it. We just randomly drew names from a hat, and these are the groups that you go in. So that's a really great feature as well with those new assignment options, to group those students together and have them only get one copy of the assignment for the whole team. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. Okay, so I'm going to come into my Microsoft Teams space, which is right here. And I am going to go in and I'm going to take a look at my teams. And in my Microsoft Teams space, I am the teacher of my amazing and incredible class. So I am going to open this up. And now I'm going to go in and create an assignment. So how do I do that? Well, as you remember, the assignment is now pinned on the left-hand side. So I can go into assignments. And from here, I can go in and create. And I actually have 3 different options. I have an assignment, which is literally just a plain assignment, one where I fill in all of those different boxes that I showed to you at the just a couple of minutes ago. Then I have the quiz feature. The quiz is really to send out a test. I'm going to walk you through that too. And then if you've already got an assignment that you may have used with a previous class, whether that be this year, last year, as long as you've created it in Microsoft Teams before, you could reuse it to create from an existing. So I'm going to start off, first of all, by showing you a quiz, because it's the one that is rather simple. So I'm going to click on quiz, and it's going to take me to this place where I use Microsoft Forms. You maybe have used Microsoft Forms before. You maybe have never used Microsoft Forms before. It's pretty simple to do. If you have used Microsoft Forms before, you may see that you already have some pre-existing quizzes here that you could pull from. So you don't have to recreate them every time. In this scenario, I do not have a quiz, so I'm just going to hit New Quiz. It's actually going to let me build my Microsoft Forms quiz straight in my Microsoft Teams space. So I'm going to call this, I'm talking, for example, about Rosa Parks, for example, in my reading comprehension. So I'm going to build a quiz that goes with that. So I'm going to go in my Microsoft Teams space, I can always insert images. If I want to do an image search, I absolutely can. If I want to pull an image that's on my OneDrive, I absolutely can. If I want to upload a document or an image, I can do that as well. I'm just going to go image search. I'm going to type in Rosa Parks, and there she is. So I'm going to put her image right beside the title. And now I have the option to ask a question. Oh, let me try it again. For some reason, it didn't like that image. Let's choose this one and see if it prefers that one. Come on, picture. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to add a new question. In Microsoft Forms, you have many different types of questions. You've got multiple choice, written text, ratings, dates, ranking. So put these in order, like a rating scale. You can have students upload a file if you wanted them to, and you can even create sections. I'm just going to give you a really quick example of a multiple choice and just say, what nationality is or was Rosa Parks? And then I can put in here, was she Canadian? Was she American? Was she from the United Kingdom? Or so I guess that would be British, etc. And I can say, you know what? I'm pretty sure she's Canadian. I'm going to put that as my answer, or I'm pretty sure she's American. I'm going to put that as my answer. So you can correct that as right, and then you decide how many points it's worth. So let's say this is a 2-point question. So that is just a really simple, quick way of building a Microsoft Forms. As I said, you can have so many different questions. You can allow multiple answers if you want. You can come in and make the question required so that the students have to answer it. You can come in and choose to shuffle up the options so that students don't all see the same questions in the same order. It's completely up to you. You can come in and put a theme on the background if you wanted to make it a bit more interesting. So let's say we put that one on the background, and then we can go in and we can say, I'm done. So now I've prepared my quiz. As you can see, what it actually does is it takes that quiz that I just created and it already puts it in the assignments tab for me. And now I get to choose a bunch of the different options that I talked about before. So I could put in the instructions like, please complete the learning assign or the reading comprehension. Sorry, I'll do that. Reading comprehension on before filling out the quiz. So I've given my students the quiz, but now I also want to give them the reading comprehension. I can absolutely do that if I want to, no problem. So I've got that quiz there. Those are just the instructions. Off we go. I can choose to assign it to a class. I can choose to assign it to multiple classes at once. I do not have to. I'm just going to send it to this class. And you'll see that you kindly get reminded here as well if you would like to assign it to students that join your class in the future. I know at the beginning of the year, there can be a bit of movement around if students are joining or leaving, especially in the secondary environment. So if you do not want students that join your class late to automatically get this, you can keep this as the default do not assign. If you want students to actually get it as soon as they join your class, then you can click on that little edit button and have it change from assigned to all students that come into the class in the future, and then you can change those settings back afterwards. Here is where we see those all students. In this scenario, I absolutely want it to go to all students because it's a quiz. I could do individual students, and then I can actually pick and choose which students will get the quiz. So maybe this is a quiz for Ashley and Kara, but maybe Al gets to do it in the resource room because he just needs a little bit of assistance with the reading part of it. You can totally choose to do that however you wish, or you can go in and say, I actually want to group the students and make this a group assignment, like I mentioned before. If we do groups of students, for Microsoft Forms, it doesn't let you, obviously, because it's a quiz per person, but I will show you how you can do that. It's just from that menu. Then you get your due date. So I said that it's due on Friday, so I'm going to put it tomorrow. And I actually want to put this before the end of the day. So I'm going to put this at 3:30 p.m. on Friday. The quiz needs to be turned in. That's easy to do. It says that the assignment will be posted immediately with late turn-ins allowed. So to allow the students that need maybe a day or two more, it is automatically on there. If not, again, I can say edit, and I can actually make this even more specific to me. So if I want to schedule the assignment, I can do that. So I can say, actually, you know what? I've got this class from 2:30 to 3:30 on Friday. I actually want this to be posted at 2:30 because I'm only want to give them an hour to do it in class. So that way I know that it's going to actually only be sent out to students at 2:30, and students will have up until 3:30 to finish it. If I want to close that and make sure that there's a hard stop at 3:30, I can say close the date at 3:30, and now it will say late turn-ins not allowed. So as soon as it hits that 3:30 mark, students will no longer be able to submit that forms, even if the form is still active, even if they've already got it open and they have one question left, they cannot submit it after that 3:30 time. So then I hit done. Now I've got my assignment scheduled to be sent out tomorrow. And then I've got that assignment as well to be closed off. I'm actually not going to schedule it to send tomorrow just because I would like it to be sent right now so that you can see what it looks like. And then last but not least, here was that wonderful add assignment to calendars. Now I can say I do not want this to go to a calendar. I can say that I would like this to go to the students only. So it doesn't go into my calendar. It only goes to every student's calendar. I can say the students and me. So I want both of us to see it in our calendars. And I can see students and team owners. What's the difference between me and team owners? Team owners is anybody that owns your classroom space. So maybe your principal is on there. Maybe your resource teacher is also an owner so that he or she can see the assignments. Maybe you have got a specialist that's also part of this. If you're doing cross-curricular activities, you want that specialist to also be aware of what's going on in your class for specific assignments. That could be really helpful. So just so you know, you have those options to push it into the calendar so that it actually forces the students to see. And then if I want to send out this homework assignment, I'm just going to hit assign. And what that's going to do is it's going to immediately send it to all students, and it's going to put it in the calendar for students tomorrow, and the time is going to be at 3:30 at the assigning due date time. So as you can see, I kind of get little pop-ups now all over the place. I've got my activity telling me you have a new assignment. If I go into my Microsoft Teams, in the general channel, I had a little notification, and it tells me right there too, there is that new assignment that's due on September the 17th. And now I've actually come to my calendar, which is one of the new features. You can now see that that assignment is right there. It is due at 11, I believe that is at 3:30. So it's perfect. You can really easily see everything that needs to be done. So let's take a couple of seconds to pause. Any questions? Anybody want to hop in, comments, whatever you'd like, let me know. And we can have a quick chat before I move on and give you guys a couple of seconds to try. Don't be shy. You can unmute your mic. You can say hi. Bailey and I are really nice.
I love the calendar integration. I teach older kids and they really need help scheduling. So I find that calendar integration will be super helpful for them. Millie is wondering, Alex, if form is only used for quizzes, could you also use it as an exit ticket?
Absolutely. You just put 0 points for any of the questions, and then you can absolutely use it as an exit ticket. Nellie, what's something that's also really cool about Microsoft Forms is you don't actually have to send it out as an assignment. So I'm just going to show you that really quickly because it can be really practical. So just hang on for a second. I'm just going to sign into this account so I can actually go in and take a look at this. So give me one moment and I will just show you from the educator side what you might want to have as an option. So I'm just going to go in and sign into my account, and then I'll share my screen with you so you can see. So if I go into my saved items, I just want to get the right email.
As like welcome back information gathering as well. It's super nice to have all in the same place. I ask if they have internet access at home, if they, I always ask how much they like to read, those kinds of questions. And then it's all in one spot for all my kiddos.
Absolutely. I feel the same. I always do like what did you love about school last year? What did you not like about school last year? So that I can kind of align with that. So I'm just going to share my screen again, and then you should be able to see Nellie. Hang on really tight for a second. There we go. So I'm in my Microsoft Forms online page. I am right here. And I don't have to do quiz. Obviously, with the Microsoft Teams, when you do the assignments, it automatically says quiz, but you can do a new form and that will have no points whatsoever. And then what I love about the Microsoft Forms is, like, let's just say I give this a title, I add a multiple choice question, I add a text question, and I add a rating question as their exit ticket. What I can then do is I can either share this out with a link, so I can copy that and put that into our Teams meeting, or I love the fact that I can do this. I can just take the QR code, copy that QR code, and then put it up on the screen. Students can just scan that. If it's in secondary, you can scan it with your phone. If they want to just do it on an iPad, they can do it on there as well. And we're going to talk about this in a second, but in our meeting options, Bailey, you're going to be on camera and you're going to be seen, so I'm just telling you. You're going to see here as well that one of the options in your Microsoft Form space is to actually do a poll. So I can't do it because I'm not the host of this meeting, but Bailey could essentially click on the 3 dots at the top of her screen, like right here, and you'll have an option in here to do a poll, and you can do an exit ticket that way as well. And I'll just leave a link afterwards in the chat for how you can do that. So that's other things that you can do with forms. Very easy, super practical.
I have a question about forms.
Yeah.
Does it share? I know in Google Classroom it shares to a spreadsheet. Does it do the same thing?
Yep, absolutely. So
Awesome.
I will show you one that has been answered before, so I can actually give you some good data on that. So if I go back to my forms here, I'll try to pick one that has responses. Let's go with this one that just has 2 responses just because. It goes right to responses. And so you get like this nice little overview, plus you get an Excel spreadsheet, and it just automatically updates that Excel spreadsheet. For every answer, you can review an individual answer. So this is auto graded. You can see that this person did 0 points. So that's a great way to do the exit ticket. What I love about forms as well is if I actually want to correct things and I have sent it out as a Microsoft Teams assignment, then what you'll notice is actually in my Microsoft Teams space, when I go into my assignments, like I had just before, and I look at that Rosa Parks reading comprehension, which was a quiz. I believe this is the one I did. Yes. When I go to Kara Coleman, if I click on here, I can actually see the student's quiz. So it tells me, oh, actually, let me go back to the correct one. Hang on. It was this one. There's each individual student. If I go to that not turned in, you can see I can't do anything with it because it's a quiz. I can't see it yet. But once the student has actually gone in and done it, I can actually go in and complete it and see the responses right inside my Microsoft Teams space. If I ever want to know what a student has received as homework, i.e., is it clear? Did I put a clear deadline? Did I give clear instructions? When you're in that assignment space for your class, what you'll be able to do is you could actually always come up to this top right-hand corner and you can go in and see student view. And that student view will show you what the students got. So it tells them the name of the assignment, the due date, what the instructions were, how many points it's worth, plus there's a copy of that form if you just want to make sure that the form is set up the way that you wanted to do it as well. So that correcting piece inside the Microsoft Teams platform is really awesome because it's just built straight into the homework assignment. You saw as well that immersive reader is there. So if you have students that have difficulty with any kind of vision or they are auditory learners and they want to hear the homework assignment, Microsoft Teams has that accessibility piece built straight in. If they go immersive reader, and actually I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so I can reshare my screen, including the computer noise so that you could see it. There we go, I'll reshare. If I actually go to that immersive reader is this little accessibility tool. I could now see anything. So if I am an auditory learner, I want to hear the instructions, I can do this.
Instructions. Please complete the reading comprehension before filling out the quiz.
I can have that immersive reader built into not only the instructions for the homework assignment, but it's actually built into forms as well. So if you also want your students to be able to hear the form out loud, that little immersive reader is right there as well. I just click on that and now the student can hear the form as well. So I'm really happy that Microsoft does such a great job of integrating that accessibility piece straight into their assignments. That was a long-winded answer to your very simple question, Tammy.
Very
It was
thorough.
great. No, it was very thorough, and I'm making those bridges between what I used last year, so it's making sense and it's feeling and looking familiar. I'll sleep even
Awesome.
better tonight, so thank you.
No problem. Okay, so that's kind of the assignments piece. I'm going to talk through another assignments really quick regarding one of the new things that exists in Microsoft Teams that has come out very recently, and I'll kind of give you a bit of a demo of that. And that is Microsoft Team has this new amazing feature called reading progress. So depending on what grade you teach, depending on what students you work with, you may have to do reading assessments. And Microsoft Teams has now built that into the Microsoft Teams suite. And it's so cool. So you actually get a reading comprehension example, plus it will show you how your student reads. So I'm going to come to my Microsoft Teams space one more time, which is right here. And this is a reading comprehension assignment that I created. So I'll just show you what it looks like. My assignment looked like this. I did reading comprehension for Rosa Parks. I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to click on attach. And what I did was reading progress. That's what it's called. Reading progress, it'll ask you to upload a Word or a PDF, or it actually has a whole sample library of reading examples that you might want to use. And I love this. It works with ReadWorks. You can go K all the way through to secondary, depending on what reading level it is. It gives you whether it's a fiction or a nonfiction. It tells you what their Lexile level is. It also tells you how many words they're going to have to read. So let's do a fiction of a tornado is coming. If you preview it, it'll show you exactly what is on here, and then you can choose whether or not you'd like this one. I'm going to select, for example, this reading comprehension. That's the reading level. This is the genre. You can limit or have unlimited number of attempts for students to actually practice the reading. So let's say I'm going to give each student 5 times. How sensitive do you want to be on their pronunciation? So less sensitive, meaning it doesn't matter if they make a few mistakes, it'll still pick it up. Or do you want it to be super sensitive as far as pronunciation? You can choose. Do you want to require a video or not? So do you want to see the student? Are you assessing their interaction with what they're reading? Are you assessing body language? That's completely up to you if you want to have that required video or not. And it also gives you the student view. And what you'll see here is that it actually gives me the option to try to read this. So if I say start, you can see me, hello, hello. If I do start, I'm going to actually read. So it's going to say, Kim heard a man talking on the TV. He said a tornado was coming. I won't continue to read it, but you get the gist. Here you can make it big screen or small screen. You can actually also use the immersive reader here. So if you've got students that are dyslexic or dysgraphic, they can bump everything out. You can have a white background or you can have a blue background. You can have big text to make it even easier for the students to read. And they can go all the way through. And then when they get to the bottom, they say, I'm done. I finished reading. And then they can either listen to the recording to see how they did and use it or try it again. I'm going to use this recording because I'm just in the preview mode for the student. It doesn't actually get saved, but what gets turned in as the assignment is the text and the video of the student reading. So you can almost do virtual reading assessments. I think it's really, really cool. It's a brand new feature. We're going to have a whole session just on this, which I think is so great. You'll also see here in this rubric section, I've got a rubric that's already here. This rubric is actually already built by Microsoft Teams for a reading progress. So you've got 4 or 5 different things that they correct on. So volume, clarity, fluency, expression, and posture. If you're not going to do posture because you're not using the video, you can absolutely edit this and remove this section, but it has already some points added in. So the volume was perfect and added increases. pronounced all the words correctly. The fluency was choppy. They needed time to stop and figure out words. That's already built in there for you. So you can just choose that rubric and then send that out to students. And now all the students have is that reading comprehension that they can just click on. They fill it out. You'll see the recording right back here. You can grade them based off of that rubric. So I can go in and grade and say, you know what, her volume was good. I could hear you well. The clarity, she mumbled a bit. Try to speak more clearly. The fluency, it flowed pretty fast and slow depending on it. Her expression was very great. She had lots of intonation, and her posture, she looked really comfortable. So really the only thing that she has to work on is her clarity. So I'm just going to say, let's say, fantastic job. Next time we will focus on your clarity. And then if I think, you know what, actually, Kara, she gave her a 40 out of 50, but I actually think it's worth a 42 out of 50, I can absolutely do that. I can return that to the student right away, or I can return it back to the student saying, you know, try one more time, work on that clarity if they want to. I'm going to hit return, and now Kara Coleman's assignment has been submitted. She is no longer here in that I need to return it. She has now moved to the returned section. Super easy, all in that assignments tab, very easy to navigate to. If I wanted to see what all of my students had as far as grades, I could come into my Microsoft Teams. I'm going to come into my Alex is Amazing and Incredible class. I'm going to go on to my grades. And from there, I can see really my whole rubric. So I know that 3 students, I've had 3 homework assignments so far. 1 is due tomorrow. Well, actually, I'm really mean. I gave my students 3 assignments on the same day. But you can see here that I see the assignment. If I click on the assignment, it will show me exactly what it was. If I click on the student, it will show me all the grades that they've gotten for all of the homework assignments that we have completed so far. And if I want to, I can even export that to an Excel spreadsheet where I'll have all the student, all of the assignments, all of the grades, and all of the comments. So really, really well thought out. That new Microsoft Teams assignments, everything that it includes, it is really powerful. So I love that reading progress piece along with all the other awesome pieces that exist inside the Microsoft Teams assignment space.
Alex,
Any questions?
I do.
Go for it.
I read or saw somewhere online recently that there are, in addition to the paragraphs, there's also sight words that students could use if you just wanted to see or gauge. Okay, so that's part of it.
Yes, you can choose that depending on the levels that you would like.
Okay, so and also for the assignments, the grade book essentially, do you control that? So if a student leaves your class and unenrolls from your group, do their grades remain, or does that disappear with that student's profile?
That just depends on what your board has set up. So sometimes it will auto unenroll if they take themselves out. Sometimes it keeps the records. That just depends on the school board. That's an internal Microsoft Teams setting.
Okay, so you're able
we can check what EMSB has.
Okay, it'll be Western. It's Western Quebec, I think, is what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so any questions from anybody else? Nellie, are we doing good? Let me know. Angela, Heidi, everything's okay. Let me know in the chat. Any questions? Are you guys excited about what you're seeing? Is there new things that you didn't know? Let me know how it's going in that chat space, just so I make sure that I'm not running away. Let me know. There's a lot of really cool things, and I think that Microsoft Teams has come a long way.
I can see Heidi is typing a response right now. She
Perfect.
said that reading progress looks awesome, and she had no idea about it. I think it looks really cool too.
Yeah, it's brand new. I think it launched in preview in June, and then it only went full blown to everybody last week. So you guys are one of the first people to see it, which is fantastic. So it's awesome.
It looks all good on my end here, Alex.
Perfect.
We should be good to go.
I will reshare my slide deck. We're in the last section, guys. We're quite close to home. We've got about 15 minutes left, which looks perfect timing for me. I'm going to talk to you through the new meeting options. So Microsoft Teams, when you actually set up a meeting, I'm going to show this to you too, now has added a few extra features into the meeting options. So once you actually build a Microsoft Teams meeting, I'll show you how to do that. It's really simple. You actually get a few new things. So the new things that you get is, do you want to allow the attendees to have a mic or not? So this is more so for when you're going to be working with a lot of students online. And when we all started teaching online, it was a nightmare because students were just muting and unmuting themselves all the time, cameras on, cameras off. It was just a whole different type of classroom management. We now have got this allow mic for attendees and allow camera for attendees. So if you did not want any student to be able to turn on their microphone or their camera for any duration of your meeting because you had a really important presentation or a very important announcement, you can actually come in and set those beforehand. So the students can't even get into the meeting with a mic on. It's automatically off for everyone. You will now also have the option to record automatically. So many times in the last 18 months, I have forgotten to press record. And then I want to give my students access to the information and I can't because I forgot. Well, now you can turn on that record automatically so that as soon as you enter the call, the recording starts and you're good to go. Very nice to have. And then last but not least, that's a new one, is the allow meeting chat. Some teachers found that students were getting extremely distracted by having the chat on all the time. Depending on the students that you have, depending on the class that you're teaching, you may or may not want to have that chat on, depending on the subject that you're working on. You now have the option to disable the meeting chat. So if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. So 4 really cool new meeting options available to you in Microsoft Teams meetings. The other thing that you now have too is the ability to disable the mic and the camera in the call. So if you forgot to do it beforehand, you could be like, oh my goodness, Alex is just talking and talking and talking, and she's really not respecting the class rules, and she's not turning on her mic, she's not raising her hand. It's getting a little bit overwhelming. I can just click on the 3 dots beside any student's name and just disable their mic and their camera while we're in the call and go and have a private conversation with that student talking about what meeting etiquette looks like in a class environment. So really helpful. The long-awaited disable mic and disable camera is finally here. We can do it either beforehand or during the call if we've forgotten. And then, if that wasn't enough, we now have a bunch of different presenter modes as well. So if you're sharing your screen in Microsoft Teams, you press that little arrow with the arrow up to share something, you actually have a few new options. 1, if you use a Mac, you can finally include your computer sound because for so long we didn't have that option. So yay! We can now, if we want to play a video, for example, or a YouTube video or anything that we want, we can turn this on so that students actually hear our video. We've got 4 different presenter modes. This is going to be a presenter mode where you see the whole screen. If I choose this mode, it's actually going to put me over top of my presentation. If I choose this one, it's going to put me beside. And if I choose this one, it's going to make my presentation a little bit smaller in the top left and me in the bottom right. I can either share my whole screen or just share a window. I can jumpstart right into a Microsoft whiteboard, getting my students to collaborate and work together in that virtual whiteboard space. And I can do a PowerPoint live presentation. So really present my slides live like I did right at the beginning of the demo today. This is what a live presentation looks like. So as the educator, I see the slides that I've got. I see what slides are coming up. I have the ability to choose a pointer, or I can draw or highlight or erase. I can come in if I've written myself any notes. I could see any notes here. I can stop the presentation. I can decide with this little eyeball if I want to allow people to go forward through my slides or if they have to stay on the same slide as me. So many different and new things available in that presenter mode. Really, really fantastic. I love those options. And last but not least, welcome to Multilingual Subtitles. Finally, if you're living or working in Quebec and you speak French or you have a bilingual classroom or you work in French immersion, you can actually do different live captions that are not in English. So I'm going to actually show you all of those right now. So again, if your camera's on, you're about to be seen because I'm going to show them all to you. So here is our Microsoft Teams space. I am going to click on those 3 dots, and you can see I've got a bunch of different options here. So the first one I'm going to talk about is that live captioning. So if I go to live captions, you will now see that in the bottom of our screen, we will, if it decides to kick in, there we go. We will now see that I actually have the option right here for me speaking. And if Bailey, you unmute yourself, and Tammy, if you want to be a guinea pig too and unmute yourself, if you actually start talking, it'll show who's speaking.
Okay, I'll talk now. You can never tell me not to talk, so here we are.
Oh, wait, if you ask me to talk too, then we could just like go on and on forever.
Exactly. So you can see that it actually indents and moves in and out depending on who's speaking so that we don't see just one straight line of people talking. Really cool. The other thing I can do is that, let's say, I would like to change the language of my subtitles. I don't want to speak in French or in English anymore, let's say. Those 3 little dots, they really don't make it obvious. If I click those 3 dots, I can change my spoken language. So I can click that. There's all of these languages. I think they have about 50 different languages. Let's say I go and I choose French, and then I start speaking in French. Et voilà, maintenant, tous les sous-titres vont être en français. So easy. Don't speak English over the top because you're going to get, I don't even know what. We aren't in live translation yet for subtitles, but that would be the next step. So I could do a presentation where I speak in French and it subtitles in English for you. That does happen on PowerPoint already, not in Teams meetings yet though. So if you're doing a PowerPoint live and you have a multilingual environment, you can easily have English spoken and French written or French spoken and English written, depending on what you would prefer. So those are those subtitles. Really great. I can have that live caption. You'll also see I don't have the option to record or do a transcript, but the meeting organizer does. So in most cases, you as the teacher, you are the meeting organizer. You can choose to record or not. The transcription is wonderful. Anything that is said during the meeting automatically gets saved. So again, if you've got those learners that really maybe take a lot more in when they read it versus when they hear it, you can automatically have that transcription set up there for you, and that gets sent out with the meeting. After the meeting is completed, everything kind of gets put into one place. So super, super easy, really helpful. I'm just going to turn off the subtitles so that we don't have them anymore. And then the other thing I'm going to show you is with that share button. So I'm actually just going to share my screen again, but I'm going to choose a different presenter mode where I'm going to put myself over my screen. So you'll see what happens. So now, Magical Alex is in her screen. So if I want to switch things around, let's say now I'm going to open the Teams space. Now you can see I'm in Teams, and I can say, your grades are right here. Okay, Kara, you got a 42. Here you go. If I'm doing a PowerPoint slide deck presentation, for example, I can open this up big, and now I'm just over top of my slideshow. And now I can say, okay, you know how you wanted to choose a different language? All you have to do is click right here, and that's where you choose your different language, and then you go to confirm. If I change slides, I can absolutely do that as well. It's no problem. And then I can say, okay, actually, you know what? We're talking about what do you get at the end of your meeting? This is where you find your attendance. So in your attendance, you'll see how many people were in your meeting, etc., etc., etc. So really nice, really helpful. I can actually interact with the content in a completely different way when I'm using that Microsoft Teams space as a presenter when I'm over the top of it. I don't know about you, but when I saw that for the first time, I was like, holy smokes, I can actually integrate into my presentation. Really, really cool. So you should be able to see that. It's really awesome.
So no, we can't. I didn't. I don't know if anybody else was seeing it properly because I could tell that you could see where you were. But as I don't know if it's because I'm not in the organization or if there's something else.
It might also be because I'm sharing my whole screen.
Okay.
So let me just see if I choose to do a window.
Did you Alex? Do you mean like when you are green screened over top of your slide deck? Is that what
you should see me in like a little bubble over the top of my slides.
I can't see you now, but I could see you earlier.
Let's try this again just to see in case I get that working for Tammy. So hang on, I'll put myself in bubble mode and I will put myself over top of, for example, this. Now, Tammy, do you see me over top of my slide? Like it should just be my head. And this is my slide.
She's saying she
I don't-
can't, Alex. It's so strange because I can see you. It did.
Nelly, can you see me? Angela,
Wondering
can
if
you
it's, like,
just see my
hiding,
little
like-
head?
So, yeah.
I can see it. It's hiding.
Okay, perfect.
Huh.
Tammy, there's just something strange.
It's just a
That's
tiny
not
thing.
very
Okay,
nice.
no problem. Thanks.
It's good to know. Good to know. Okay, so I will stop sharing my body over the top, a floating head.
Alex,
so
Nelly had a good question about that.
Yes.
I was wondering if you can see your students when you're in bubble mode.
Yes.
Nice.
I've got my Microsoft Teams window open and it still shows me if anybody's talking, if anything's still going on, I can still see my students. Yeah. I can
Super
still
handy.
see you guys.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen one more time because we're almost done. And then the last but not least thing that I wanted to talk about was the meeting attendance. So when you're actually done your meeting, if you come in and you reopen up that same link for your meeting, you'll see that you actually get all of the chat that took place, any of the files that were shared during that meeting. You get any of the meeting notes that you took, any of the whiteboard that you participated in, and an attendance. So it will show you how many people were in your meeting, how long did it last, how long was the average attendance, who joined in, when did they leave, and how long were they actually here. So if you need to do attendance virtually, this is a great way to do it. Again, it's very easy to find. All you need to do is come into your Microsoft Teams space. You're going to go to your calendar. You're going to find one of your classes. Let's do this one. I'm just going to open that up. And then you'll see here that you get the attendance, which is right here. Shows you who is there. You get also the recording and the transcripts. So in here it says there's no meeting transcript, but this is the recording. So instead of having to now go and hunt down your recording in Stream or in OneDrive, if you just come back to the meeting that you had, in my case, it was my class presentations, and you open it back up again, it'll actually put that right here for you. So you've got the meeting recording, you've got the notes that you took, you've got your attendance, and if you had a transcript, the transcript would be right there. This does not just put it there for you, it puts it there for the students as well, minus the attendance. So the students get the recording, the class notes, and the transcript. They do not get the attendance. So those are all the new fun and amazing things that are available in Microsoft Teams. I'm really happy that you guys were here to spend this time and learn so much with me this evening. I love exploring these different options. I wanted to point you just to 3 resources that everyone might use. One is more information on that reading progress, all the new things that are available to everyone. A little blog post that kind of recaps all of the updates that I talked about tonight. And then the last but not least, that wonderful Microsoft Educator community website. If you've never used this website before, it's a really fantastic tool for educators. If you actually go onto this website, the Microsoft Educator community, you can actually have a free code that you can claim saying that you did an hour of PD with Microsoft today. So that is there for you. I just wanted to say a massive thank you for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening. I really appreciate it, and I hope it was valuable for everyone that watched it live or everybody that's watching it recorded. Please do give us your feedback. It's wonderful. I would like to hear what you have to say about how the session went tonight. And as always, if you ever need any extra help, please do email us at help@cobblestonecollective.ca. We are real people who will give you real answers to your questions. There is someone that mans that different email address, and there are real people who will help you. So if you have any questions about anything to do with EdTech, give us a shout at help@cobblestonecollective.ca, and we'd be more than happy to help you out. So that is it for me. It took us right to the end on the dot.
Perfect timing.
Exactly.
Thanks so much, Alex. It was
No problem.
super valuable all around. So thank you. Lots of really
Awesome.
cool new things. I'm just
I'm
going to
really
stop
glad.
the recording now.
Go for it.